All right, we are here with John Lux, and he is the executive director of Film Florida, and we are just going to get right into it. So, John,
Mhm.
I would like for you to share what has happened in the past in regards to the film industry in Florida that has made the role of Film Florida so vital and even more important today.
Well, it's a good question. I mean, going back to Florida's origin in the late 1990s, I mean, originally it was put together, to kind of get people on the same page, kind of moving in the right direction. A big focus at that time was sales missions, or however you're on columns, conferences, trade shows, film festivals for local film commissioners, where rather than each film commissioner having to spend a lot of money to get a booth and go and participate in all that, a group of people got together and said, wouldn't it make more sense if we can kind of consolidate the dollars and be more effective and kind of get one booth and then have everybody be able to kind of buy into that booth at a much smaller scale. And it allowed people to market better, get out there all over the country and the world. So that's kind of the origination. Now, in the last couple of years, there's a lot of different reasons why Film Florida is important to industry professionals as well as students. And I mean, there's a group of our industry that believes that fighting for film incentives is the most important aspect of Film Florida. And that is important. There's no two ways about it. And so we do spend, a decent amount of time and energy and resources on that. However, there's a good portion of our industry that says, I'm not sure film incentives actually apply to me very much. I'm not sure that it would really help me. I kind of debate that because of kind of the trickle down of if the industry is growing and getting stronger, it is going to help everybody. But that being said, there are other aspects that are more important to people. And I think that's actually something that we're tackling over the next 6 months, is trying to make sure we're providing the best benefit to our members. I think you can never, talk enough about the networking and the professional development and the marketing support that we do. All of those things that help, depending on whether you're an individual, whether you're a small company, whether you're looking to go to some of these trade shows and film festivals or conferences to learn more. There are discounts available there. The collaboration is really big. The majority of our industry is either small companies or individuals, and not being left on an island is really important. And those are the type of connections that we try and help people make, so they do have a support system within the industry. And so those are some of the top level things that we think are important. But again, as our membership continues to grow, we're trying to learn what people are looking for, because everybody's a little different, and so they're looking for different things, and we're trying to make sure that we're providing that to them.
And so you mentioned in the beginning of what you were saying, you talked about film incentives. And I know that there is a political legislative component that ties into that. And I think it's very important that people understand just the impact and what film incentives used to do in Florida when we had it. And then now that we don't, and the legislative and what we're fighting and what we're advocating for, and you are doing such a phenomenal job in just being in the forefront of that. So can you kind of share what the film incentives and what was and what should be?
Yeah, so historically, we'll kind of look at this as three phases. So phase one was pre-incentive of any kind. And Florida at that time was the number three destination in America for film and television. That was kind of the heyday of where Florida was. And that was where, people wanted to be. Then in the early 2000s, in large part because people saw what was happening with kind of some exodus of production going to Canada. Essentially, the exchange rate of the dollar was making it so if you went to Canada, you were essentially getting better value for their dollar. And so people here in the States looked at it and said, is there a way to kind of manufacture that better value for the dollar? And that's how film incentives came to be. They really kind of took on a new life after Hurricane Katrina. There was a huge effort to help the state of Louisiana, specifically in New Orleans, and they already had an incentive program in place. And people quickly realized not only could they go to Louisiana and help the state in their recovery, but at the same time, it was good business because people were learning how to use the different incentive programs. In 2004, Florida got their first true incentive program under then Governor Jeb Bush. There were a couple of different programs in the subsequent years, but then in 2010, a program went into place that actually expired in 2016 that was a longer term program started by then Governor Charlie Crist. During that time, there were massive benefits to that program. So on the pros, the good side of it, there was a huge amount of spending. A lot of people got hired. The ratio was something around 4-to-1 in terms of the amount of money that was spent in the state versus the incentive that was administered. So there was really a lot of benefits to that. We got their bloodline or burn notice was included in some of that. Bloodline, Ballers, the Glades, Graceland, Dolphin Tale 2 was in that, and a lot of other things. There were close to 300 projects that benefited from that program. However, the downside of that was about halfway through the program, the state introduced a new return on investment metric, a formula, and the program didn't measure up. And, we didn't know that was the measurement until halfway through the program. And as an industry, we said, let us fix it. We can do this. We know how to fix it. We were not given that opportunity. And so while there were a number of positives from a legislative standpoint, the state did not see it as a good program, because for every dollar that the state invested in it, less than 40 cents came back to the state in state tax revenues. They didn't count local taxes or county taxes or tourism involved. That wasn't part of the formula, which we argued were benefits, but they were using one formula. And so we knew how to fix it. We weren't given the opportunity. So now going forward, we've learned the last couple of years of what this metric is and how it works. We've looked at a lot of other states. We've looked at a lot of other states that don't have state income taxes, which is an important element of our formula. And we've put together a program with some great legislative support that has an ROI that is at least 1-to-1, which means for every dollar that the state puts in, we know that the state is going to get that much back in state tax revenues. And I've actually gotten a few questions recently about, well, how does that work if we don't have state income tax? So approximately 60% of every project is labor, which there are no state income taxes associated with that, obviously, because we don't have that in Florida. But then the 40% is taxable services, goods, those type of things. That 40%, we know, because of the way we've helped design this program, there's enough state tax revenues to offset the rebate program. And so for every dollar that is invested, the state's going to get back their dollar, as well as the counties and cities, and all of them are going to get plenty of taxes as well.
Essentially, that means when projects come to Florida, it's the revenue received from the spending, like the restaurants when they're staying in hotels. That's what the state can expect to get back in terms of that 40%, correct?
That's correct. And it all depends. Some of that tax revenues goes to the counties, some of it goes to the state. The state is particularly interested in the state tax revenues. So that's what's important about the formula, is understanding what is going to be state taxable and making sure that the state gets their investment back. So they can, it's a good sound investment for them. And at the same time, we're going to be able to grow and strengthen our industry by bringing more projects and more jobs and more money here to the state.
And so what does that look like? So now we understand that Florida does not have a film incentive program, and I know that legislation is out there to advocate for that. So, but what can someone like me, a producer, a hairstylist, director, freelance gig workers, what can we do to help support those initiatives?
The best way to help the efforts would be to reach out to your local legislators. Everybody has a state representative, everybody has a state legislator. Of the 160 legislators up in Tallahassee, each person is represented by two, one in the House, one in the Senate. You can contact Film Florida at info@filmflorida.org and give us your home address, and we can look up your legislators, or you can go to the state websites for the House of Representatives, which is myfloridahouse.gov, or you can go to flsenate.gov and type in your address, and it can tell you who your state legislators are, and you can contact them either by phone, by email, set up a meeting either by Zoom or in person, and just tell your personal story. That's what we really emphasize, is telling personal stories. All the analytics in the world, all the numbers and dollars and all of that sometimes ends up sounding a little bit like Charlie Brown's teacher. And so the personal stories are a little bit better. They relate to them. They can remember those a little bit more. So we encourage everybody to reach out to their legislators and ask them to support the film and television industry as we try and bring more opportunities here to our residents.
I am currently a new member of Film Florida, and I have just fallen in love with the film commissioners and the various people who are in the film industry. Just hearing them speak about the projects they're working on or the projects that's coming to their city, it has just been an eye-opening experience for me. So I would like for you to share, for those who are freelancers, those who are directors, gaffers, people who are starting off in the film industry in Florida, what are those benefits that they can enjoy by being a part of Film Florida, and why should they join? And then you can, tell us just, where they can get the information to join.
So first and foremost, I would say people should want to join Film Florida because we are fighting every day for their future. And there's a cost to doing that, and so we are funded entirely by our membership. If people decide they don't want to join, if enough of that happens, then we don't exist anymore, and then there's nobody fighting for you. So that hopefully would inspire people to get involved, to support those that are supporting them. But realistically, people want to know what's in it for them, and we don't have a problem with that. And so first and foremost, there is marketing support. If you have, if you're a company and you have special events coming up, you have press releases, you have projects that you want to get out to a larger audience, we help with that through our social media channels. There's obviously networking involved. It's a little bit harder during a pandemic to do, traditional networking, but we've still tried to do as much as we can to help out our members. And it's not just specifically Film Florida events. We help promote other events for our members. If somebody else is having a networking function, we're trying to get that out there. So maybe indirectly through Film Florida, people are going to be able to network a little bit better. The collaboration is big. I mentioned previously, sometimes people do feel like they're on an island. And so having a support system of people, other like-minded people in the industry to kind of work with and bounce ideas off of is very important. We try and solve problems. People bring issues to us all the time that say, do you guys know this is kind of an issue? Is there something we can do about it? And then we look at it and we see if we can help out. Discounts are big. Obviously, people are watching their pennies. And if you're interested in a conference or a trade show or a seminar, sometimes we're able to put together group discounts and make sure people can attend at a little bit lesser cost. And then we talked about the legislative voice. We are a very loud but respected legislative voice in Tallahassee. And if people want to help out in that manner, the best way to do it is to get involved and get engaged. And again, there are a lot of people that say, like, look, I don't have time. It's just not my thing. I don't want to get involved, but, I want you guys to keep doing it. We can only do it if we have the support through our membership. So we encourage people, even if it's just a smaller membership, to get involved and join, just so we can continue doing what we're doing. And then of course everybody gets a free gift when they join or renew, and so people like free stuff, and so that's kind of fun too. So those are really the main benefits. If people are interested, they can go to filmflorida.org. There's a whole membership section there. You can look at all the different membership rates and join online. If you have any questions, our email and phone number is on the website as well to reach out, and we just want to keep people moving in the right direction.
So there you have it. It's important for you to be a part of a community. If you are a filmmaker, it is important for you to be a part of Film Florida, because they're advocating for you. They're advocating for your creativity to continue to be seen and to be heard throughout the world. So join Film Florida today. You will not be upset. It is a great investment. It is a great organization to be a part of. The people are awesome. All right, so let's just get right into it. So Sandy, what is your role as a film commissioner in Miami-Dade, and the importance that our economy and the film community here in South Florida? Because I feel like you play a major role, and so I just want people to understand your role and the importance it is for the economy in Florida and in the film community.
That's a big question. So let's start with, I might have to ask you to repeat the part of it, but let's start with my job. Okay. So as the Film and Entertainment Commissioner of Miami-Dade County, I market Miami-Dade County not only as a destination to come and film, but also to attract, business to come and stay here. For example, I've chased Netflix and to actually put down roots here. I mean, that's part of my job, and I will continue to do that until the cows come home. But it's not just it's for people to come here as a destination. It's to attract, not only I want to say studios to plant themselves here, but also businesses, ancillary businesses that obviously supply the film and entertainment industry. And I'm just trying to think, so I market that way, but it also very important to develop and nurture the local film community, because we have so many amazing content creators. So that's part of my job as well, is to make sure that we're nurturing our locals. On top of that, let's see, what else do I do besides marketing? Our office permits for 16 municipalities, as well as Miami-Dade County, which is Miami-Dade County, unincorporated Miami-Dade County, including 260 parks and roadways and bridges, the airport, the seaport. So we're I'm going to say we are the busiest film office. I have a small staff, but we are incredibly busy. And besides, those things, I also develop film-friendly policies in the county. That's not just on the commission, with the commission, but with each of the 25 departments. So, and that's sometimes whack-a-mole. So when, all of a sudden, they're saying, oh no, you can't do that. And it's like, okay, well, let me explain why we need to do that. So that's part of, we try to make it very smooth for producers, productions to complete their projects here. I'll tell you a little bit about how we market actually. So besides this year, a little different because I didn't travel. Usually I travel 11 to 12 months out of the year, and I travel to meet producers, directors. I go to events, and it's all about networking and meeting people, and not only developing new relationships, continuing and nurturing the old relationships. Right. This year has been a little challenging with that, obviously, or this last year, because of the COVID situation. But so that's part of the marketing effort. But also, for example, if not even if when I find leads, I chase them down, and I will ask for either a script, or I'll ask if they want to give me a location list, and then we put together location packages so that they have photos, so they can actually envision coming to Miami-Dade County. We actually give crew lists, so that we can get people employed, location managers, production coordinators, all of that, what we're asked for. We will provide those lists from previous projects. So, we're all about getting people to work. That's what we're about. I mean, my whole being in life is job creation. That's what we do. We are part of economic development in the county, and that's a good part of what we do. Also, I'm very big on the education, very big work with the local universities and colleges. And starting now, I believe I'm going to have a better relationship with the Miami-Dade County school system, so that students in high school and even junior middle school I was just about to say junior high, that dates me, but middle school can actually, start understanding and learning what this business is about. So that's, education is a big part of, a passion for me, helping students get into this industry and continue to work and thrive in this industry, and hopefully they stay in, the county and do their work there. So on the bigger level, you ask about, I'm going to try to go to the second part of your question, which is the economics. So in a bad year, this year was not a good year, right? I mean, we were literally shut down from March until June, right? That was, we didn't even issue film permits. The minimum, it was about $130 million of direct spend into the local economy. That's a bad year, right? So yeah, so let me tell you a really good year when we had incentives. Mm-hmm. $500 million a year into the local economy. Wow. So, right. So that's why.
Break that down, Sandy, because for people who are actors, producers, directors, just, crew gaffers, like, what does that mean? Like, break that down.
What does $500 million into the local economy mean? Mm-hmm. That means there's no multipliers. That means that when we have an incentive, we are inundated with projects, even if it's not a big incentive. And that's because, trust me, everybody wants to come shoot in Miami-Dade County, and they want to shoot in the state of Florida. They do. They want to come here. But business, the business, I want to say the business model includes having an incentive. Of course, the county has an incentive, but on the larger level of the state, we don't. That's why when we have an incentive, all of that comes, and that means everybody's hired, and plus we need more, right? So that means that then also the more that production we have and the more people are hired, the more we can train people to be in this industry. So then we have a pipeline of people that are coming into the industry. That is the importance of having, an incentive so that everybody can work. And then the people that are coming up that want to learn the business and get to work can be trained and come into the business. And that's really, really, really important. So I didn't even put that on the back burner. I just told you that now. But I was just going to say, economically, it's not just crew that, this money goes to. This, we can go down the line. It goes to the dry cleaners. It goes to the car rentals. It goes to the hotels, the restaurants, all the food stores, retail, small businesses. It is the one thing about this industry, and this is something we talk about all the time, is that it can diversify an economy, because the money that's spent, so that $130 million that was spent into the economy, that wasn't just spent in one area. That's spent in all different areas. So it's like a feeder bands, So that's why we are an important industry.
And I love, when I first met you, one of the things you told me, because I was one of those creatives that's like not finding opportunities here, not figuring like, what do? I see a lot of people going to places like New York and Georgia. There's Tyler Perry Studios. There's a lot of opportunities there. And you told me, why go to those places and be a small fish in a big pond? Right. Just stay here, establish yourself, and put in the work, and just build your network here. And when you said that, I was like, that makes so much sense. And I just fell in love with you ever since. Okay,
Well,
so the next question.
and I fell in love back. So you know what, you were sitting there. I must say, you sat there and you wrote down, you and your crew were there, and you're all writing down notes. And I was like, these ladies are going somewhere, because they and you have. So I'm very proud to know you, my friend.
You likewise. Okay, so the next question. So let's talk about what's happening, what you see happening in the film industry in South Florida. So since we've entered a new era of just this COVID and how it has shifted a lot of things, I want you to kind of talk about what you see happening because of COVID, and just some of maybe the restrictions or changes or new innovations, if you can share.
Well, I think I'm sure if you've had any conversations with John Lux from Film Florida, which I should also say a couple of things. I am the vice president of Film Florida. I'm also a member of the FFEAC, the Florida. Let me get this right, because I'm on it. The Florida Entertainment Advisory Council for the governor and for the state of Florida, right? So I'm on that, and I'm also the chair of the School of Entertainment and Design Technology at Miami-Dade College. So I put that out there. So now, what did you ask me? Because I forgot what you said.
Because of COVID, what do you see the trends that's happening in the film industry?
So let's talk about what's happened, right? So, in trends, and if you mean, safety wise, right? So right. So, I'll say this, I worked on and helped develop the first actually comprehensive set of recommendations for a healthy set with Film Florida. And we were the first to come out with a comprehensive. So I was very proud of that, right? That was in, that was worldwide press on that one, because we, came out with just recommendations for a healthy set. So what's happened is that it's harder to do our job, right? It's harder to do the job. I didn't mention, I was a producer for 30 years. So people should know that I come from the industry, right? So I understand the other side. So what's happening is it's taking longer to, produce a project. There's testing going on until everybody gets vaccines. There's PPE, which personal protection and equipment, masks, and whatever else, whether it be shields or otherwise, that has to be provided. So budgets are going. There's between a 20 and 30% increase to your budget, and that means that other things have to actually come down, because you're not getting more money, right? So you have to bring your budget down some other ways, and that means, and I should say, days are longer, because it's harder to work at the pace that we used to work at, wearing masks all day. It's long. It's either shorter days but more days, so that's why it's costing more money. So because of that, you either have to kind of pivot, and that means not as many locations. That means costs for, talent wise. You have to have really, really good dialogue, and your content isn't about car chases. I mean, it has to be good content, and a good story, to be honest with you, to be able and not depend on all of the external things that we always depend on. And I will say, though, that Miami-Dade is easy place to do all of that, because we actually do have those different locations in one place and pretty close to each other. So, you can kind of go a little bit around the world, and, in the kind of diverse locations we have in Miami-Dade County. So I'm plugging us a little bit, as I always do. But it's harder. But I will tell you something. I feel optimistic, and I feel because of these changes, I think they're positive changes. We're concentrating more on storylines, right? So you're concentrating really on what the story is, and not on the external, I want to say, and it's not saying production value, but the extra stuff that, we like to do and make it fancy and, make it exciting. So we're focusing on story, and also we actually have safer sets. Okay. So those, and the end of all of this, I think that those changes will stick. I think that then when, and all this time I've spoken to so many creative, producers and creatives that are actually writing so much content and writing for this type of situation, but their stories are solid, So I think that that's going to come with us. So in the end of this, I actually think the end of this, I don't know if there'll ever be an end, but you know what I'm saying? As we get safer, I still think that a lot of these changes will be positive in place, so.
And so with you saying that, like the focus is now going to be on the content and the story. So what advice can you give to up and coming filmmakers, writers, actors, when it comes to creating and conceptualizing a creative project, keeping in mind COVID and how it kind of have shorter days, but there are more days. Like, what are some tips you can give us?
Well, I'll tell you. So, so as part of my my position, as the chair of the at Miami-Dade College, right? So I actually I judged the pitch competition, and we talk about this during the pitch competition and saying, how are you going to accomplish that with what you're doing? You need to, you need to scale it back. How you have to think is scaling back, to and I don't want to say, it's two people in a room talking the whole time. It shouldn't be that. But I'm saying is you have to actually think about just less locations. That's for sure. Less moving, right? So you want to find a location but next to each other that's very diverse and has, different looks. So you don't have to be moving all around. Also, you have to think about shooting interiors as least as possible during this time because of air conditioning and because of all those things, right? So a lot, and that's why we are poised to be still a popular place because you can shoot outside a lot of, except for during hurricane season, but we won't talk about that. But you really have to think tighter. Less is more for for you. And I say that also, again, coming back to your story has to be compelling enough to not have to have the extra, stuff in it, as I say, the extra fluff. Your story has to be very compelling. And you know what? Simple sometimes actually makes us more creative. So a lot of times, we get in our heads that things have to be just bigger than what they are. But when you concentrate on a story, that doesn't mean that you have to, I want to say, keep adding on. You have to. It's almost like you have to strip off a little bit more and have the honest, true content.
And really get to the meat, to the core
Yeah.
of the story that you want to tell. And I do see that there will be a shift in the story writing. There will be a shift in how visually it's looking because it's going to be more focused on the story. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's actually going to be it's going to be interesting. And I'm, I've been watching a little bit of what's been going on. Some shows have come back and they're shooting because they have COVID in their story. They're wearing masks, and they are not. And it's not as it's different, and it's different in a positive way. Again, for a long time, I say the industry kind of got off on a tangent of, more is more, when really, less is more.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh goodness. Okay. So another question I have for you, because this is something that is evident in terms of just the lack of diversity in our industry. And I feel like you are truly a pioneer in connecting people. You are a resource. You are a pillar in South Florida in terms of really like giving people opportunities and exposing, and you're like an advocate for us down here. But there's still an issue of lack of diversity in the leadership and just the crew and just many facets of the film industry. So I want you to kind of share your insights on either, the work that you are doing to make our industry more inclusive, especially in South Florida, because I got to be honest, a lot of productions are not given to people that look like me. They're not checking for me. And that's a lot of the conversations in my community that I'm hearing, but I know you're out there advocating. So if you can just kind of share your insights on the work you're doing, and then just things that we can do in the film industry to make it more inclusive. What are some tips that we can do to make our industry more colorful?
Right. So I'm going to say this, and and I say this, just knowing this industry, it's not always about the purposeful of not having color. And I say this because a lot of people have been working in the industry for a long time, so therefore they go to the people they know, right? For a long time, this industry has not nurtured, right? The black, brown, anything other than right. So that's part of the issue, not purposefully. And I'm going to say that truly, not purposefully. I think it's just the opportunities that actually, and I don't know if it's opportunities, but maybe just not the understanding of the Black community that this is a viable industry. So you asked me what I'm doing. So I work with two programs. One is down south in Goulds, which is it's for the underserved, and also I help Marco Mall with the First Take program, right? So these are two, right? This is just two of the programs. Also, Miami-Dade College is one of the most diverse universities in the United States. I don't know if you know that.
No.
So yes, it is. So that's what's very cool about that. But again, so when we started talking about education, it really starts with having, everyone, no matter what color you are, understanding this industry when you're young, to be able to have this opportunity of this industry and what it can bring to you. A lot of parents think, oh, my kid has to be a doctor. You can make a median salary of the salary in the state of Florida, median, that means the middle, is $84,000 a year, right? And you don't need a college education for that. Now, I advocate for college education. I'm going to tell you that. But my kids go to school. One of them's in the industry. I made him finish college. I said, you have to finish. And I almost didn't finish college. My father pushed me to finish college because I actually left and was in the industry. And he said, go back and finish. I would not be able to be in this position if I did not finish college. So I thank my dad for that. My son will thank me one of these days for that. So I say, if you have the opportunity to go to college, still go to college because it's important. But for those that don't have those opportunities, that's where the education comes in, to educate that this industry is it has so many different parts of it that could be very attractive to, but you got to start younger, right? And that's not, that means it needs to be in the schools, right? That all of those opportunities need to be. And interestingly, way back, and we're not going to say how old I am, but when I was in high school, I actually, in my first year of high school, there was an actual film class, right? And that went away. So that has not been in the Miami-Dade school system for a long time. There was a class on film, and I had already been in the business, so that was interesting in itself for a little while before even high school. So so that's kind of what that is. And for me, the other thing I involved with is the American Black Film Festival, very heavily involved in that, right? So the more that I meet with, high level from that, especially with Jeff Friday and the American Black Film Festival, that is my ability then, as people get trained, to be able to connect them with those people, those industry stakeholders and decision makers, that when they're ready for that, making that leap, that I can make those connections. So, again, I am all about diversifying this this industry. So not just the economy, but diversifying the industry. I see it slowly moving. We always want things to move faster, right? But it's also, it's also where the I have seen also the Black community telling stories and actually doing their own thing. Now we just got to kind of get everybody together, right? It's sort of like politics, right? Everybody has to kind of meet in the middle so that everybody could, meet each other and understand what everybody brings to the table, right? Because we all bring something to the table. It doesn't matter what our skin color is, to be honest with you. We all bring something to the table. We bring our personal stories to the table, and that is diversity in itself. No matter what that, no matter, again, I'm not saying I'm advocating for anything, but skin is, no matter what your skin color is, you bring something special. You bring your, whether it be your story you want to tell, whether it's you want to bring your personality that you want to bring and tell other people's stories. It's important for everybody to get together, and I do agree with you that that our crews are not mixed enough. It is definitely, skewed white, and I would be honest with you. But that said, the more that I get to know, as I've gotten to know, I recommend, and I say, here, you need to consider these people, when people that I know in the industry that are crewing up, say, you need to consider all of these other people. And by the way, I have to plug something while I'm here. Okay, it's really important actually for people. So if you have to have some kind of experience. You have to have at least had a PA job or some kind of experience in the industry. We just launched a new directory, brand new directory. Okay, so I have to plug it. It's called the Real Film Miami Production Directory. We had one before, but this one's different because we partnered with Real Scout, which is the program actually that we use to put our photo packages together and to create this. But this is what's very interesting. You can get booked there's a book button, right? So that's really important. So, and it's more like a hold button. So they press that, you guys get in touch with the producer, production coordinator, whatever, will get in touch with the crew member, or it could be, a director or somebody that has, wants somebody to write something, it does, but there will be book buttons, and that's what's pretty cool about it. So more opportunities for people to, to get work faster.
You have a wealth of information. I just want to quickly just go back because you are truly a pioneer in, I'm a part of you truly bringing people and connecting people, especially people of color. Because once I connected with you and I told you this is what I want to do, and you will automatically, like, you're all about connecting.
Yeah,
So
that's going to be my tombstone. Sandy, the connector,
yes.
Lighterman. That's what I say. Yes.
It will be. And I want the world to know that you are truly like, and I honor you for that, because you're going to truly see the fruits of that. And I love the fact that you are creating a pipeline for more diversity through education, because that's true. That's where it should start. It starts in our education system. So the more we're teaching filmmaking in our schools, and they're learning and they're doing the work, and you're connecting with the big wigs and providing opportunities, and it just all gels together. And then the last thing that you said, because I was going to let you plug that anyways, and because I started the process, because you guys have a little video on how to, complete the process. And I thought that was just awesome. And that's another way that you're making it easy for young people, for filmmakers to get work. So we put information, we put our bios, our resumes, and the information is out there. So thank you for your team for creating that, because I think that is awesome. I sent it out to my team so that they can be on there. So it's all about, getting the information out there, and you're truly a wealth of knowledge.
You're very sweet. So everybody out there should go to filmmiami.org. That's with 1m.org. And on the left side, they'll say production guide. And then there'll be a link to the new one. The old one's still up there, but we're not populating that. We're just trying to populate, until we get it more populated, then we will get rid of the old one, you know. So, but everybody should, you know, you have some, just some experience, you need to sign up, you know.
There you have it. Sandy told you. Make
Yeah.
sure you sign up.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank you again, Sandy, for just having this candid chat with me. I know that someone will hear this and, you know, see that they can, you know, get work, they can get inspired, they can connect with you, connect with your department to get the work, because I feel now in 2021 things are on the uptick. And so
Can I
are
say
you
something? Can I
uh-huh.
say something? I want to say, so, and this is so that everybody out there understands, you know, I am very approachable, right? Where did we meet? Do you remember? At the film festival, at
48 hour.
48 Hour Film Festival.
Yes.
And yes, and that, and you know, but you were on top of it and you got in touch with me. And you know, I might say I can't do this right now, but let's set up a time. I'm always about setting up a time to talk to people because I am busy, but I want to definitely I want to talk to you. You know, I want to help people. I want to, if you want advice on, you know, how to get into the industry, I'm here, you know. I'm definitely here to do that as well. So, you know, I do my best to try to help as many people as I can.
And you do that. And so I thank you so much, everyone. There you have it. Hit up Sandy Leiderman at the Miami-Dade Film Commission office, and there you go. So we're going to get right into it. So we have Rory Lee, Makeup by Rory, the extraordinary makeup artist who is not only just a makeup artist and is killing the game in South Florida, but you wear and do multiple things that keeps you just booked and busy. So I want you to share with everyone, like, how are you in the many facets and the work that you're doing? How are you staying innovative in this industry that's just keeping you consistently booked?
Oh boy. Well, so where do I begin, Denise? I mean, I think I'm consistently booked because I've done the legwork to build the foundation and to create a brand. Rory Lee is, I mean, I'm humbled to say this. Rory Lee is not me. Rory Lee is the brand. I just happen to be blessed to have the namesake of the company be my name. So Rory Lee, the brand itself, has been building and evolving and learning and growing over a multiple amount, 25 plus years. And coming into being a part of Film Florida from pretty much the inception, at that point, I was quote unquote just a global makeup artist, but yet there were so many more facets to what I did from my background. I have a 5-year science background, studied, actually it was supposed to be a 4-year plan, but it took me 5 years to get through it, from the University of Miami, you know, the freshman year, you can imagine. So I have that science background. And then from there, I went into management training and product development. So I have that background as far as product development in the science industry, as well as, you know, management. And from there, parlayed into wardrobe, and then fell into makeup.
Wow.
So, you know, when God creates this tapestry of who we are as a person, everything that we've done over the years, we've been able to learn and grow and apply to become who it is that we're meant to become. So, Film Florida, and you know, being in the you know, in that glam vanity area of the industry, I feel it is something that was destined for me. You know,
Mhm.
I fell into the makeup and the cosmetics from a science perspective and from skincare and skin treatment. And you know, I'm a licensed esthetician and a professional skin therapist. So skincare and skin treatment to me is everything. And from there, I realized that I had the gift of painting faces. And I was always an artist, but in different mediums.
Yeah.
So, you know, sharing my talent and creating a person's natural, handsomeness or natural beauty using makeup is something that became easy for me. And then my world opened up when I realized that I loved being on set. I loved the production world. I love working with you. I mean, you're just the bomb director and producer to work with, and so that was my world. I wanted to be a part of, creating movies and creating commercials and, you know, um, doing things behind the scenes with TV and film and just being a service oriented person. But I quickly realized about 10 years or 12 years into my career that I couldn't do, look, two hands, right? Two hands, 10 fingers. I can't do this myself.
Yep.
And I had no problems whatsoever in bringing people with me so that we would be successful together. And there were certain jobs, where I was the department head or the key or lead, and I needed a team of makeup artists and I needed a team of hairstylists, or I needed, wardrobe people to help. And so what better synergy can you have on a film or TV or production set if you're working with the people that understand you, that could run with you, and the rhythm is there and the energy is there. And at the end of the day, I'm so grateful because my team, they know excellence is priority, and they know what we want to achieve. At the end of the day, it's our brand. It's not just me alone, but it's our brand, because I can't do it without them and they can't do it without me.
Come on, say that. And Rory, I respect you so much because you are a G in this game. You're not just you look this youthful and graceful, but you have a lot of years up under your belt, and so you've seen seasons and trends, and you have been, because I've been seeing you work during COVID. And so as a makeup artist, like, what are the trends are you starting to see in this new season now that we are having to film during COVID, and some trends and some tips that you can give fellow and up and coming makeup artists so that they can be prepared, so that they can be ready, they can be professional and booked and busy like you?
I know we had to take the step in faith. In fact, you were the first director that booked me for a job right out of COVID, and it was a little bit. It was a little bit, nerve wracking in a sense. I mean, I'm trying to think of a positive word for it, but but we took the time. And Film Florida was a huge support. We had multiple town hall Zoom meetings, and having created a 7-page document of every single detail in every single department, and what we can do to safeguard ourselves and to safeguard the people who we're working with. We want to make sure that our team and our crew is safe, but we also want to make sure that whoever it is that, especially for my department, how can you stay 6 feet away from a person if you're 6 inches in front of their face? Exactly. And you booked me because you knew that I was, we were social media and communicating, and you knew that I was taking the time to level up. And we couldn't work in the business, so what better way to spend our time but to work on the business, to grow and to do what we needed to do. So the 4 quadruple certifications in COVID mitigation preparation, and making sure that buying the extra Sterilite, the sanitary equipment necessary. And we were always clean, and we always had a procedure for hygiene and sanitation as far as me and my team. But now we just took it to a whole nother level. I mean, CDC can learn from us because we took it seriously to a whole nother level. And there was a time where we just had to take that step of faith, and do things in a manner that was intentional, to make sure that we were doing things in a manner that that we're staying safe, you know, and if that meant being COVID tested or temperature checked or, you know, extra sanitary equipment and products and, you know, taking the extra time space wise so that, you know, we're not trying to, you know, just do factory work and get multiple people done in a short period of time, but really taking the time. And I believe in treating the person that's in my chair like I would treat myself or someone in my family, you know, just that intentional and just that exceptional, because everybody deserves that.
Come on. And I'm picking up so many things from you, just what you're saying. You started off saying that, you know, you edified yourself by reading up on a 7-page document about how, you know, to be COVID compliant, you purchased all the equipment to keep yourself and your team safe. And you're doing all these measures to make sure that you are keeping safe during this time so that you can keep working, you know, because you are full time. This is your livelihood. And if God forbid you got to get put down because of COVID, you know, that stops the flow. And so it's good to hear, you know, what you're doing to take those measures because we're living in this time. So you and I are both Film Florida members. And so I want, you know, people to hear from you. Just what have you noticed? Because you brought me into, you know, Film Florida because you had told me about it and you connected me with John. And then it was just on and popping from there. And then now I'm just like in this world that I was like, wow, I wish I was here like many years ago when I first said I wanted to do film, but God has his timing. So I just want you to share just the benefits and the importance of this organization, just from your perspective as a, you know, as a makeup artist. You're the one that gets called upon to, you know, make the artist look, you know, beautiful. So I think it's important for people to hear just from your perspective.
Right. I came from corporate America, and in the professional world, you know, professional organizations and professional networking and professional colleagues and collaborating with professionals was something that, you know, we did in corporate America as second nature. And so just because, you know, I parlayed my career towards freelancing and entrepreneurship and, you know, being independent, you know, being an indie consultant, it didn't mean that I had to put all of my principles aside, because you can't do this alone. And Film Florida, from the very beginning, if you look on my YouTube page, I think maybe 10-12 years ago, you'll see one of the original videos that we did about, you know, why it's important to, you know, do these tax credit incentives and bring on people from Film Florida. The support has been there from day one. Wow. And I wanted to be in the space of people who are in an industry that care about what they do, because I knew I can learn from them. And, you know, being a makeup artist and, you know, being a part of that whole hair, makeup, wardrobe, skin therapy, sciences, that's just one department. But I can't do this without a director. I can't do this without a producer, right? I can do what I do, but I can't do what you do. I don't even know how you do what you do, to be honest with you. I mean, I was like, but then again, you know, we each have a gift and a talent, and those gifts and talents are not meant for us to keep them to ourselves. And so I feel that Film Florida is that huge umbrella. It's that huge family, if you will, that I can't do it without them. But then again, even if they try, they really can't do it without me. They might say, okay, well, it's COVID, so let's shoot without makeup, or let's just have the talent show up makeup ready. Makeup ready doesn't mean that they're camera ready. Let's just be real. So, you know, we each have something to supply, and we need each other. And so I feel that support. Film Florida is like a family, you know, it's like a crew, it's like our team, it's our tribe. And how can we do this without them? really, I mean, and the support has always, always, always been there. So I don't even hesitate twice. That is the organization where I make sure when I get that email once a year that, hey, your membership is about to end, don't even think twice about it. Okay, I'm renewing.
Exactly.
You know, I like the stickers and the tumblers as well, but you know, at the end of the day, I appreciate the support. I appreciate being able to grow the referrals, you know, the social media engagement. You know, I want to know what people are doing. You know, Florida's big.
Yep. And it's beautiful to hear, because that's my sentiment as well, the support and the sense of community, as a filmmaker, just to be surrounded and hear, you know, decision makers, film commissioners talking about projects, and you do get insight. You do, if your ears are very keen and sensitive, you can, oh, there's a project coming down the pipe, let me get myself ready and get my crew and tell my community. So it is a great organization. So the last question, I want you to share some tips and tricks, and as a makeup artist, how people in South Florida can just, you know, those budding up and coming makeup artists, how they can set themselves apart so that they can be successful, because you have multiple streams of income within your business. You're an esthetician, you have a makeup line, you do makeup, you manage a team, you mentor, you're certified. So what are those? Give me a couple of tips that you can share with people so that they can set themselves apart to be successful.
Always being willing to learn, and always being willing to, and when I say learn, let me just put a little in parentheses there. When I say learning, I don't mean just going on YouTube and following someone's video on how they did makeup on themselves, but I'm saying learning as in professional. There's nothing wrong with that, mind you, to each his own. But you know, if you take that same example and you're following someone's YouTube page on how they did makeup on themselves, and then you think that that is, and I say you in general, but you think that that's the way that you should do your own makeup, or you think that that's the way that you should do everyone else's makeup, taking that an extra measure and getting professional education, then you understand that face shape, eye shape, the type of look, and what the person's trying to achieve, their age, their skin tone, their texture, you know, the prepping and priming, all of that comes into play. But you may not get that from watching a YouTube or an Instagram video. So, you know, proper education, professional education is the first thing. The second thing is find a mentor, and when I say find a mentor, and again, I say this really humbly, but find a mentor that's in a position that you desire to be in. Just don't find a mentor that looks the way you want to look. And I find that some younger artists, that's all they're focused on. But where do you want to go with your career? Be willing to say yes. And then if something doesn't feel right in your heart or your mind or your spirit, be willing to say no, thank you. But if you say yes, let your yes be a yes. And if you say no, let it be polite, but say no, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many jobs my team picks up because the makeup artist that the client scheduled bailed out or canceled at the last minute. That's not professional. No matter what industry you're in, that is not professional. If you make a commitment, yes, given there's emergencies that happen, but you know, be solution oriented. If there's an emergency that happens, just don't no show or just don't cancel at the last minute without a solution. That's why I believe a community is important. We have our what do you call it, group me, you know, the app group me, and I have a whole community of teammates and you know, artists that I mentor that are a part of that, because I want to make sure that I can fall back on. We have a huge clientele. You know, I've built up a really good relationship with people over the years where they want to do business with us again, which is a blessing. So I have this huge, you know, tribe people so that I make sure that my clients are taken care of. But if someone's going to be under a freelance contract with my company and they're going to go on a job on my behalf, they have to follow my procedures because my client is expecting me. And if I can't be there, Sunday, was yesterday Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
We had 3 different jobs simultaneously: West Palm Beach, Coral Gables, and Pompano Beach, all at the same time. So
Wow.
I'm only one person, mind you, right? So if I didn't have teammates to call upon, and sometimes those teammates can do a better job for that particular client that I could even do, because my style might be different, you know? And so I recognize. And so as a new artist, be willing to recognize what you're good at and work on building that, and be willing to recognize what you like and what you don't like. But you're not going to know, as a new person growing in the industry, you're not going to know what you love and what you don't love if you don't try certain things.
Exactly. You gave a lot of nuggets. Educate yourself, read, mentor, have a phenomenal team. And it sounds like your team has your heart, because you can, it's like you done cloned yourself. And it's that's just beautiful. And I see why you're so successful. You're giving me some inside tips on just your successfulness. And I hope that everyone is receiving that, because that is key. You gave some really good nuggets. So that's the end. I just wanted to just get you, because I know you're busy and we both busy and we got to go, but leave everyone with just information on how they can get in contact with you.
I have to take a picture of us real quick first.
Oh, okay.
I love it. I love it. You know, it's a blessing to be able to have the opportunity to be of service. And it truly is awesome, you know. And my makeup line started because I needed the ancillary funding to help, you know, do the things that I do for my nonprofit. I don't go out there. Most nonprofits go out and, you know, they're in the business where they have to fundraise. I don't even fundraise, but the money comes to us because of what we're doing in the community. Our Girls Enrichment Program is incredible. So ourgirlsenrichmentprogram.org, or on all the social media platforms, it would be under Our Girls Enrich or Our Girls Enrichment Program. It's a way of teaching holistic makeup artist sessions to young ladies that are underserved, so that they really understand that their beauty comes from within. And so it's powered by teenagers, by my teen mentors, and I support them and they support our community. And it's a total blessing. RoryLee.com is my website, and I've unified and brought everything under one umbrella to make it easier for me as well as for my clients. So RoryLee.com for products as well as bookings and services. And you know, Makeup by Rory Lee on all the social media platforms, or just me, Rory Lee. But yeah, it's awesome, and I'm grateful. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of this, and for the opportunity to be of service in a plethora of different mediums with all of our clients. So I look forward to seeing you on set soon.
I'm sure we will. That's inevitable.